always had an out. I've heard everything. I've heard, oh, there's too many applicants. We can't find the right. It's just too many, or we don't have enough applicants. The job market's terrible. The focus group said that campaign should have worked, and then it didn't. So it's we just got bad information. It's the supervisor. We've got bad supervisors there, so we need to get that. And then on and on and on and on. It was always something like that where they constantly had outs. And for a very long time, that's what it was. Marketing, HR, they could get away with that because they had this magic black box that information went into, and then it spit out saying, "Oh, this is what you should do." But they were never. It was never their responsibility. It was always somewhere else. Well, that changed once we moved into the digital world with the new analytics that come out with social media, with website hits, the ability to really measure the effectiveness and the stickiness of marketing materials forced marketing to have to make a change quite a few years ago. And now marketing, they have some of the best metrics in the world because they were forced to go through that. HR, your time's here. Your time is coming, and you are no longer going to be able to just say, "Oh, it's a bad job market. Oh, it's this or it's whatever." You're going to be held accountable to deliver on your responsibility and again, no more blaming everyone else. Now, I've got an article today. It's from Fast Company. We're going to take a look at where they talk about some of the things that the HR folks really can learn and should be looking to adopt from the marketing folks that have already been through it. Again, for those that don't know, my name is Ryan Howe. I'm a business coach that works out of West Michigan and around the country. I come here live pretty consistently every single day and share information I share with my clients, and I hope to earn your subscription today. So let's get into this here. Again, this is from fastcompany.com. Link is going to be in the description, so be sure to go check them out. Why HR's future looks like marketing's past. Again, when it comes to tech and showing business value, today's CHRO should check with yesterday's CMOs. Again, that's our chief HR folks with your chief marketing folks. It's all about accountability, folks. We're going to start here with this. Okay, by the way, I always say it's Rebecca Beastman, so thank you for this. Think back to the shifting tech landscape of 2015. Uptown Funk was blaring. Oh, I do not miss that song. Snapchat filters were later. Yeah, the Snapchat filters were great, and hoverboards were all the rage. No, they weren't. At the same time, marketing teams were facing an uphill battle to improve return on investment as new digital marketing opportunities like the rise of video content marketing and the shift towards mobile led to changing tactics, and budgets came under more scrutiny. That is so very important. And again, that was such a huge issue that we had with marketing, that this huge spend, and then what would you get on the back end? That, well, it should have worked, but it didn't. No, not anymore. And HR, you're in the same boat. Now, a decade later, HR teams are facing similar circumstances. Just like marketing leaders had to establish their digital campaigns' values, HR pros now need to demonstrate how their tech-forward people programs drive business results. The good news, right? Marketing teams have already nailed this shift, and their journey can offer a blueprint for HR leaders facing the same pressures. And one thing before we get into this that I would tell you for the big shift that happened in marketing and what needs to happen in HR is marketing became more operations focused. It was less on the ethereal, more on what are the things we can actually measure against and find a way to get metrics. They became relentless on that. This is how we measure things now. And that's where you see where they're now be able to, they can get that return on investment, return on experience that you're looking for. In HR, you got to be able to do the same thing. Now, the rise of power, going back to 2010, digital marketing was the latest innovation. And again, fastest path for rapid growth. Facebook completely changed the game. There's no denying that, and they still dominate the space. Now, the advent of new marketing tactics and an increased focus on social channels thrust marketers into the spotlight in a way they hadn't been before. These new channels gave marketers new access to real-time data, requiring more resources to be successful, and led to increased scrutiny of how they were using those resources. Again, results matter. In 2009, when this individual worked at Gap's newly formed digital division, the finance team set benchmarks for success in e-commerce. There were a lot of conversations around the right metrics to track. I love hearing all this. This is HR, pay attention, which gave way to how we measure our results. And it was crucial. Asking marketing about metrics versus handing down an answer that didn't match expected outcomes meant we could better align our goals with actual business priorities. HR has to do the same thing. And this COVID was the driving force of this. In 2020, people became the scarcest resource for many companies, and HR became the most powerful function overnight. For the first time, HR had a real seat at the table. All of a sudden, employee safety, well-being, and retention at all costs were part of their already heavy workload. Heavy workload HR? Okay. Now in 2025, the impact of AI's rapid advancement and employee skills gap due to demographic shifts have put HR leaders front and center once again to drive workforce transformations for their businesses. As with the rise of marketing a decade earlier, leaders should be asking how they can most effectively track success. This is something that I work with all my clients on. It's something where I've been in with businesses like, listen, we're going to have metrics in HR. There are specific measurements that we want to track with you. And of those, turnover rate. So there's turnover rate, and then there's fully qualified turnover rate. And they're measured two different ways. Those that know what I'm talking about, but it basically just comes down, what's it take to replace someone fully, as in they're fully trained, not just I have another warm body in the seat. HR was measuring for the longest time just another warm body in the seat. I flipped it, said, hey, no, we want to know how long it takes and how much it costs for that turnover, that person, which involved all of that training. All right. Okay, so 2015 marked the year of ROI as the key determining factor of a success for marketing leaders. This was when delivering on goals no longer felt like a nice to have, but a career make or break. Absolutely. You got to deliver, right? You're getting all that money. We better get a return on that investment. And it better be many multiples. Marketing overhauled how the organization viewed them. With increasing numbers of data and channels, there were limitless ways to target customers and a lot of wrong answers. The C-suite started expecting quantitative results from campaigns that they couldn't do before. Now think about how great that is as a business leader, right? You've been a business leader forever. You're in this position, like, man, marketing has been telling me for decades that hey, we think we did well, we did all right. And all of a sudden, because the main avenue to get in front of people is switched to social media, where we can look at views, how long they viewed, comments, how many shares, all the different analytics that go with that. You can quickly identify and match up, because of the click through, how effective this marketing campaign was in the digital space. It's so great. I love it. And one of the things I love about TikTok and Facebook is there, Instagram-ish, but really TikTok and YouTube Shorts are the main ones right now. The algorithm tells you if you've got something that's great, if you've done a great piece of media. And what I work with my clients on is like, listen, let's throw as much mud in a structured manner as we can against the wall, put out as many TikToks on this subject as we can. And then those that go viral, we then use those as the base for our paid ad campaigns. So if it's on Facebook and this post is doing well, we see the algorithm really likes it, we're going to boost that post. We're going to push it out. We've already figured that out. And that piece has been really great for marketing, because now they have something they can test, which doesn't cost anything except to make it. And then figure out on the back end, okay, when we do create something that we think should be good and the algorithm likes it, we can then spend money and then have it reach even more viewers. That's the idea. Now, today, HR teams are taking on more, driving workforce transformation, keeping pace with AI. Okay, come on. Employee wellness and a general imperative to do more with less. Okay. By the way, I worked in HR for a long time, folks. That's why I'm really harsh on HR. Again, the way that I view what HR is doing and being around HR folks as long as I have, their work is challenging and stressful at times. So is operations, so is sales, so is our logistics folks. Okay, you have to do work. Let's go do work, folks. Boo-hoo. We all have a job to do. Now, similar to its marketing predecessor, HR now needs to report results tied to business objectives in concrete ways that were previously unquantifiable-ish. They always were, it just took a little extra work. Now, increased scrutiny over cost efficiency is putting HR pros under the microscope for a good reason. For good reason. It costs an awful lot to turn people over, HR. Come on, do better. But with that, they got a team with operations. We'll talk about that. Results are no longer only about this, again, the vibe check. That always drove me nuts. And building company culture. Ugh. Oh boy. Now they have to think about outcomes they're driving for the business. They should think about stakeholders as paying customers that matter to the organization's bottom line. So, and that leads me to the other side of this, right? For the longest time, they didn't. The HR did not think about their responsibility to deliver high quality individuals to, for operations, and really dig that out. They just thought they were just the hiring person, and they just did the qualification check, and that was it. Now, HR, we want you to make sure that you are fully managing the personal onboarding and things of that nature. Help operations by finding the correct people. Now, employees are as important as customers in this regard and need the KPI treatment in today's era. Absolutely. The employers who align their people investments with business objectives are the ones who will stay competitive and build future. Yeah, absolutely. Plain and simple. People investments need to align with business objectives. That needs to be the thing, not the other way around. Successful marketing programs require a blend of coordinated strategies for maximum impact, brand building efforts, technology solutions, including AI, and targeted campaigns must work in tandem to influence growth. Tomorrow, HR leaders will need to employ a similar symphony, of tools, measurements, and experiences to create create the appropriate conditions for their people to thrive. Now, the way you're going to do this here, we're going to skip down here. The future demands an integrated approach where technology augments teams' capabilities, where analytics inform but do not make decisions, where employee experience is crafted in the same manner as the customer experience. All right. Now, again, go check out the rest of the article there. I want to make sure that I hit this piece. So for business owners out there, HR professionals that may be watching this and are steaming out their ears right now, and again, marketing, this all still applies to you. When you are looking, anytime you are making a business decision, you need to have it tied to your business objectives. It doesn't matter if it's hiring. It doesn't matter if it's marketing, if it's operations. It always has to be tied to a business objective. And when you are looking at the way that you measure those, yes, you can have return on investment. It's kind of hard at times with an HR. I get that. But if your spending has gone up extensively when it comes to these employee applicant tracking systems, and you have not improved the overall quality of your hires, the retention of your hires, why are you spending money on an applicant tracking system? You have to be able to justify that expense in, again, when you're looking at Indeed, when you're looking at Salesforce, whatever you have, LinkedIn, whatever you're using for your applicant tracking system, you need to be able to justify that through quantifiable gains. And for too long, HR, you have gotten away with simply just being able to say, it's hard out here. You don't understand. We've been interviewing tons. They're just not getting better. We're just not finding the quality candidates. What a load of crap. Your sales folks don't get to say that. Salespeople don't. They do not get to say, I just can't find anybody, and then expect that to be okay. And everyone goes, okay, all right, well, you're doing your best. Wrong. And that is what's changing. So what I would say to my HR professionals out there, that I understand your work better than most. I spend a lot of time in there. I coach HR all the time. I do. And it's where I do spend a majority of my time, because businesses are people. If you aren't sure about how to go about doing these things as far as measuring, etc., you've got SHRM, but I don't know if I'd reach out to them. I'd talk to your operations folks. Put your heads together, and if you aren't comfortable with metrics and really figuring out how to measure these things, talk with your HR folk or with your operations folks. I'm telling you, and say, listen, how do I measure this? They do this for a living. This is where they spend their time, is measuring how well they get a return on their investment, because they have to. If operations isn't profitable, everyone goes out of business. So they track every metric they can. And that's where the last bit is, whereas I've been advising my clients for a couple years now that they don't need to hire an HR professional. I've been saying this because it's going to take 10 years before the training gets where it needs to be. It's nothing against your education and your experience, folks, but I let them know, listen, if you want to have quality in HR, that you, as far as being able to measure and are used to being measured, bring in someone from operations. You can train them up with and pair them with a local HR team. You can find a consultant they can learn with as they're getting their skill set underneath them, but they're already operations focused on measurement. And that has been the change for my clients that has been extremely successful. And that's really what we want to see with operations. The best HR person that I ever worked with, she was phenomenal. I could not express how much I appreciated her and how great she was at her work. She was operations at a logistics hub before, and she went to school for HR while she was there, and then she became HR full time. So she was fully certified SHRM, but she started in operations. She was phenomenal. When I needed certain demographics hit in a particular way at a particular time, she had a plan. We could measure it. Where it came up short, we made adjustments. Where it hit, we doubled down on those things. But we could measure everything. So that's really it, folks. Again, be sure to go check out the link in the description there. This is HR. You got some stuff coming. HR, you have some responsibility changes that are going to be happening here. But what I want you to know is you're not going to be the ones that are going to be ultimately, I want to say this here, overall responsible for implementing this. You have a team around you. Ask for help. Yes, you're going to be accountable, 100%. But ask the team around you, and you'd be shocked. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, I think is what I want to say, at how quickly people will rally around to help you because they know how important this is. So with that, if you'd like to learn more about how I help small businesses grow faster than I ever thought possible, be sure to reach out to me at summitbusinessguys.com. Hopefully, again, I